welcome to the weekly close live here on the Passive Income Podcast. Joseph, new and exciting things going on in your life. We were just talking
Here
before
and
we
there.
hit live. You're in your new place now.
I
It does
am.
sound a little echoey, so there's nothing there yet, right? Other than that
Yeah.
table you just showed me.
A couple boxes, but that is really about it. I can just and hear it echo.
Yeah. Wow. All right. So should we just get right into it, or is
I
there
don't
anything
see
else
why
you want to
not.
talk about this week before we? As always, we'll start with the closing numbers, and then we'll get into the earnings for the week. But do you have anything else to say before we jump into it?
No, not particularly. Markets close Monday. Be on the lookout for that, U.S. investors.
Yeah, markets are closed in the U.S. and I believe it's also a holiday in the U.K. So I think the FTSE is closed as well. But obviously, the Canadian long weekend was last weekend, so the Canadian markets will be open on this coming Monday. And yeah, so again, as always, every week I will pull up the closing numbers, and this is your chance to plug whatever you would like to plug.
I guess I got to go back and plug my typical marketplays.com. That is PLAYS, not place like the TikTok captions will make you think it is. I don't know how much I'm allowed to say right now. We got a lot of things floating around, and I think I'm on a very short leash. But let's just say very, very exciting, very big changes coming very, very soon. Well, I say
Big
very
shout
soon.
out to you and all the
Couple months.
marketplace guys over there, John and Efe. I know you guys are doing some amazing things. So yeah, as always, we'll start with the TSX because I'm biased. The Toronto Stock Exchange. I just have to get to the right tab so I can see what I'm looking at here. The TSX closing this week at 22,322. Now, I was looking at this. I'm on the 5-day chart. If you take a look here, Tuesday, May 21st at 10 a.m., 22,544. That has to be an all-time high. I'm very convinced that's an all-time high. A huge dip here on Thursday down to, well, I guess not huge dip, down to 22,148. And like I said, closing the week at 22,320. Just sort of, the markets, all of them, the TSX, the S&P, we'll skip over to the S&P bullish this week. We'll get to the Dow in a second. The S&P 500 closing the week at 5,304. I should have pointed out that that TSX was in CAD. This is in USD. 5,304. Another. It looks like we hit all-time highs on the S&P 500 this week as well, if I'm not mistaken.
I know for a fact we did. I don't know if we hit all-time high closing, but we definitely hit a new all-time high at least once.
Yeah, I'm just kind of skimming over the 5-day chart, and great week in the markets. Just watching your money become more valuable if you're invested. The Dow Jones Industrial Average. Oh, a little bit of red there. What happened to the Dow? Closing the week again in USD. Closing the week at 39,069.
Well, now I have to know what happened to the Dow this week.
Yeah, that's the 5-day chart I have there, and
I mean, oh yeah, you're totally right. Oh, interest rate concerns.
Yeah, makes sense. And here we go again to how much I cannot afford to travel to the U.S. I would love to go and meet all of our friends, and obviously you and Tom and Charter in North Carolina, and
Charter's in Alabama.
Shout out to Dividend Dog there down south, and Smart Net Worth Nick. I'd love to go and meet him in New York or Connecticut, wherever he is, and so many other great people. But man, this exchange rate makes it really hard for my Canadian dollar to go anywhere in the U.S., right?
I mean, that's why I tell you, we need to take a trip to Japan.
Yeah, we were talking about this last week, and I never did
look up
the Japanese yen. But I guess I did actually get thinking about that over the course of the week. Is like, okay, so great, our currency is worth more in Japan, but does that just mean everything in Japan costs like 10,000 yen?
The simple answer to that is yes, but there
Yeah.
is a little more complicated than that.
Yeah, exactly, right? Crude oil on the New York Mercantile in USD closing the week at $77.80 per barrel. Bitcoin never closes. Of course, I have it in Canadian dollars at 94,240 Bitcoin. Again, that's just one day. That's just Bitcoin
I would say
spike.
Bitcoin's on a ride. It's up about 4% this week. It's pushing 70,000 USD again for the first time in quite a while.
And then we're going to jump all the way over to the NASDAQ, back into US dollars, closing the week at 16,920. Solid week. Let's jump over to the 5-day chart on the NASDAQ. Yeah, very green. Up and down. Of course, that's to be expected in the stock market. What happened here on Thursday? It seemed like all the markets were down on
Dave,
Thursday.
you know what happened? Like what caused the Nasdaq to jump on Thursday? Come on, you know this.
Do I? I don't know. What did I miss?
I'm not even joking when I say this. Nvidia reported earnings.
Oh, right, yeah.
That's what that jump is. I'm not even joking.
Yeah, but didn't Nvidia report after hours on Thursday?
Oh, I can't see the time you're on, but yes.
Okay, so anyways, we'll get into Nvidia as we get through the week. And of course, our shout out to James in England. The
Okay, wait.
FTSE closing the week at 8,317 quid, because everyone knows I will use every single opportunity I can to use the word quid. And of course, we can never, ever, ever forget Akito over there in Japan. Thank you for tuning in on Saturday morning, Akito. Saturday morning in Japan. In Japanese yen, the Nikkei is closing the week at 38,646.
So I'm gonna be honest with you, Dave. I'm starting to doubt that James is real too.
Oh, and I can't afford to travel to the US, and I definitely cannot afford to travel to Europe. There's the Canadian dollar to the euro at 67 cents Canadian to yeah, just sad for me, to be honest, really. Thanks
I mean,
KT.
what is the Canadian dollar to the Great British Pound? Do you is that up there?
And give me a second to find it, and we'll come back to it, okay?
I'll say yeah. Maybe we go to London.
No. The British pound is worth more than the US dollar.
Okay, see, I did. Okay, good to know. I honestly did not know that.
Yeah, it's it would be even more tragic for me to try to travel to the United Kingdom or Great Britain.
Oh yeah, you're right. It sure is. Wow, I never knew that. All right, well, I guess there goes both of our trips. Back to Japan then. Well, let's bring that back on the table.
I will meet you in Tokyo.
Dave and I are gonna fly over, and we're gonna Akito. If you're real, then
what do you mean if he's real? Of course he's real. He's like tuned in Saturday morning in Japan. That's like what he does every Saturday morning at, let's say it's, I don't know, 8:30 in the morning, Saturday morning there right now.
He's more dedicated to
right
the show than
like,
I am.
Akito, hit that like button, hit subscribe.
He's here every week. He should be subscribed.
Oh, that's crazy. Okay, let's get into this week. A lot of interesting companies this week, and a lot of not so interesting companies. You know, other than Nvidia, you know, there's a very particular one I'm interested in on Thursday in the earnings. And yeah, if you're ready, we'll jump into the Monday. And I just gotta do this.
I'm going to once again apologize to everyone watching at home. I'm once again on just my laptop, so you're going to see me look at my phone a lot because that's where my notes are.
Yeah, fair enough. Okay, Monday we had earnings from, who did we have earnings from on Monday? Wix, Global, Nexon, a whole lot of, I don't know who some of these companies are before open on Monday, after close on Monday. Palo Alto, Zoom, Trip.com, anything. Do you have anything for any of these companies?
I do want to hit Wix real quick. I wasn't intending to hit Wix this week. It's another one of these I honestly did not know Wix was publicly traded. Wix is up 26% this week.
Wow.
Yeah, they smashed earnings, $1.29 a share actual, $1.03 a share estimated. And we've talked about this. A lot of their competitors, like your Shopify is a great example, are down right now, and they're having trouble, finding new customers. And yeah, retention hasn't been as much of a problem, but finding new and increasing profit margins has been a problem. Not for Wix, though. And of course, it was a great earnings call. Everything really seemed to go well for them, but more than anything else, I don't know. It kind of just seemed to really put them on the radar. So look back to it's only been about a year so far, Q4 2022, when Wix hit profitability for the first time, and it's been straight up and to the right. It's when I was looking this up this week, I saw a lot of articles where people are starting to ask, is Wix severely undervalued? Because you look back at their stock chart, they had a huge jump in 2021 before really crashing back to earth about June of 22, and they've been on a quiet but solid rise ever since. And I do have to say they are also based out of the same city as Fiverr. I got to hit my weekly quota, and shout out Wix for being the one to do it right.
Okay. Can you see where my cursor is here above Wix?
Yeah, I don't know what that is at all.
Can you just go ahead and pronounce that for me, please?
No, I cannot. I wouldn't know how to start. Let's see here.
I know, right?
Lee Auto Inc. That's who that is. Let's just give them a quick chart. They're an ADR, which is interesting. Down 17.5% on the week. 17 cents a share actual, 35 cents a share expected. So they missed earnings by about 50%. If I'm reading into this correctly, they are like a Chinese EV company.
Okay.
Okay, that's today we all learned.
Yeah. That's what we're here for, just to, learn. And do you have anything else for before open on Monday or after close?
I do want to hit Zoom.
Yeah.
I am proudest. I say this as a paying Zoom customer. I'm a bear on their stock. I fully believe Zoom was a pandemic stock, and it makes me mad how they keep proving me wrong. Zoom is down about 1% this week, which honestly, if you read into their call, tell me if you've heard this from me before. The future is a little uncertain, and they lowered guidance for the rest of the year. That's kind of just been the story of the last, 6 or so months. I know they said something about AI, something with Zoom Contact Center. I didn't really follow that. But going into, their actual numbers, actual EPS, $1.35 a share. Expected was only $1.20. Zoom's profitable. Zoom's, in a lot of ways, they are really printing money post-pandemic opening, which a lot of people, myself included, were not expecting. But it just keeps working. We're talking about a stock that is up, down about 11% year to date, down about 3% on the year, but I don't know. They're weird. Zoom continues to be an enigma, to say the least.
So here's what I don't understand about Zoom. Is every Zoom call I've ever been on has always been like a free Zoom call. How do they make money?
So the way they do it, this is why I pay for Zoom. If you are on the free plan, you cannot, maybe you can record your meeting, I'm not sure, but it's capped at 45 minutes.
Right.
If you want to do anything longer than 45, you have to pay for it.
Okay.
And there are some other little quality of life changes here and there, but the only real reason to pay for Zoom is because either A, you want more than one person on an account, like if you have an enterprise or a business. I know a lot of in my job, I work with a lot of financial advisors. A lot of advisors use Zoom. But the main thing is meetings longer than 45 minutes.
Okay, fair enough. I just want to point out the ticker on the bottom there. Send that super chat so I can eventually pay Joseph that 10 Canadian dollars that I owe him.
And please do it fast because the CAD is sinking fast. That becomes a little
right?
less worth it every week.
Okay, we're gonna jump to Tuesday. Yeah, we are. Let's jump to Tuesday. Before open on Tuesday, Zim, not sure what that is. Macy's, Lowe's, always a popular one on Twitter, on X. I don't know what a lot of the rest of these companies are before open on Tuesday. After close, again, I don't recognize a lot of them, but what are your thoughts?
So we got to start at Macy's, which is somehow, I think I commented this on your tweet. I don't fully understand how, but somehow Macy's is still kicking.
Makes sense.
Honestly, well, see, you say it makes sense, baffles me a little bit. I figured they were going to go the Sears route a while back.
Okay, yeah, fair enough.
But either way, Macy's, actually, solid beat on earnings, 27 cents a share actual, 14 cents a share expected. Up about 3.5% on the week.
Can you hear that? The lawnmower in the background? That's loud, eh?
I was wondering what that was.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, and there's really not much to say. I mean, it's Macy's. They didn't. I mean, of course, they had better than average or better than expected earnings, and they actually did slightly raise their outlook for Q3. But I mean, other than that, they kind of just said, "Hey, we're Macy's. We're doing what we do."
Right.
I wish I had more of like a take on that, but there's really not much to have a take on.
I do not think we have any Macy's department stores in Canada. There may be like one or two in like say in Toronto, Montreal, Vancouver, and that would be it. There would not be anything in any of the smaller centers.
Let's see here.
If it even exists, I don't know. Yeah, you tell me.
There are 3 within an hour and a half of me. Why? Whose idea was that? Yeah, there really are. There are 2 in Raleigh and 1 in Durham, which anyone from the area. Sorry, Michael Durham Bull on Twitter. Raleigh, Durham, kind of the same metro area.
Yeah. But are there any in Canada? I don't think there are. There might be one in Toronto. Maybe.
Let me look that up real quick. Macy's Canada. I'm going to go with no because when I search Macy's Canada, I get Canadian MLB gear at Macy's.
Right. Yeah. So highly unlikely then. Okay. Lowe's.
Yep,
Lowe's is very popular in the DivTwit, FinTwit, X community.
Lowe's gets entirely too much of my money.
Well, that's because you're a homeowner, and you were saying last week you don't have a Home Depot near you, so of course it's Lowe's, right? That's your default.
I say it's Lowe's, or I don't fix whatever's broken. Over the next month and a half or so, Lowe's is going to get even more money from me. So throwing this out to you right now, Marvin Ellison, CEO Lowe's, I expect a shout out. Though I'm probably not spending near as much as like the average contractor. With that said, Lowe's actually had a bit of a rough week, down almost 7.5% on the week. Did actually have a nice little beat on earnings, 306 actual, 293 expected. But it's kind of the same thing we saw with Home Depot last week, whose stock was also down. And I mean, let's call it like it is. If Home Depot moves, Lowe's moves, and vice versa. They are the same company in different colors.
Yeah. Exactly different colors. Yeah. Blue, orange. That's it.
Yeah. Forward outlook is not looking great for the next quarter and really the rest of the year. Despite, some extra home production, most of their revenue, of course, comes from people like me. And also, independent contractors and things of the sort. And, well, the rest of the year, they're not, they lowered guidance. Thinking people may not, if I had to guess, I don't think this was said, people may not have the money or the disposable income, rather, to keep upgrading and fixing up their homes.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Anyone watching on X or Twitter, please be sure to tag that CEO so Joseph can get the shout out that he so rightly deserves.
I like to tag Tim Cook every now and then, and I just hope that one day he'll like my tweet.
Tim Cook, Apple, and absolutely nothing to do with Lowe's or Home Depot.
But we're talking CEO like that. So while you tag him, also tag Tim Cook.
Sure. Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. What else do you got there for Wednesday, either before or no, we're still on Tuesday. What do you have for
Yep.
before or after on Tuesday?
The only other one I had, I looked this one up. I should have done AutoZone, but unfortunately I didn't. I looked up Toll Brothers just out of curiosity. Which I'll be honest, when I looked this up like 5 minutes ago, if that, I thought this was the chocolate company. It's not.
Okay.
They're a home
What is
builder.
it then? Because that's what I thought too. As soon as I saw Toll Brothers,
Yeah,
chocolate.
yeah, that's Toll House apparently.
Right. Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah, they're a home builder. Up to 3% on the week, 338 actual, 414 expected. They're a luxury that's why you and I don't know who they are. They're a luxury focused home builder for the ultra wealthy.
Right. We are not the ultra wealthy until you
No.
get us to 259 million subscribers like your neighbor.
Yeah, like my neighbor. Yeah, he and
Well,
I
he is. He's your neighbor,
right
man.
down the road.
Okay, let's skip over to Wednesday if you're ready.
I'm ready.
Target. That's the first thing I see right there. Petco. And then, yeah, after close NVIDIA, that's obviously the biggest one of the week. So you have any thoughts about before open on Wednesday before we get into the monster that is NVIDIA?
Well, first up, of course, we got to hit Target. Down a little more than 10% on the week. And a little surprising that personally, they pretty much hit EPS 203 actual over 205 expected. 2 cents. We're gonna call it a rounding error. The big thing with Target, though, and again, once again, they did this in their last earnings call. They did 2 earnings calls ago, and they're probably going to do it again in the next one. They lowered expectations for the rest of the year. This is a new view, and I don't like it.
No, neither do I. I'm just.
But yeah, Target, not great. Of course, they're a solid brand. They're going to continue being an absolute retail giant. But if you're looking for some short-term growth in Target, especially toward the end of the year, Target, who makes, I don't know the numbers on this, but I'd say a large portion, if not the majority, of their income on consumer discretionary purchases, rather than like grocery income.
Right.
They're going to take when the economic situation's a little dicey in the middle class and suddenly doesn't have so much disposable income. Target's going to be one of the first ones to get hit, and they unfortunately don't have like the grocery backing to rely on, like say a Walmart would.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's obviously the big thing with Walmart is like people have to eat food and they know they're going to get decent to really good groceries food pricing at Walmart. Plus, if you're going there, you can just pick up anything else that you need at the same time.
Oh,
Right?
without a doubt.
That one-stop shop sort of idea. And honestly, that's the number one reason I do my grocery shopping at Walmart is because I can just get my groceries at pretty good pricing, and at the same time, get anything else that I might need. Water, salt, whatever, right?
I want to argue with that, but a couple months ago, I went to Walmart to do some grocery shopping, and I came home with a microwave. So
you came home with what?
A microwave.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, why not?
Well, if you're getting groceries, you need something to put the groceries in. A microwave is makes sense to me. Why wouldn't you?
It's how else are you going to cook it? It's the only option. It's like somebody in the chat help me out right now. When you're cooking your Thanksgiving turkey, how long do you microwave it for?
Oh, we're a long way from Thanksgiving in either Canada or the U.S. Anything else before open on Wednesday before we get into the whale of the week?
I got a couple more, so I'm going to build a little suspense. So, contrary to Target, TJX, who owns TJ Maxx, Home Goods, several TJ Canada, TJX International, Marmax, if anybody knows what that is, I don't know. But another, retail focused store, I believe they're much more in like the home goods and the apparel, up actually 3.5% on the week in a very, very stark contrast from Target. Hitting, looking at their earnings, 93 cents a share actual, 87 cents expected. And I didn't really get to listen into those earnings calls as much as I'd usually like, but what I was reading into, unlike Target, TJX is a lot of your discount stores, kind of like, I believe they also own Ross. And consumers are going to continue making discretionary purchases, and they're going to go where those purchases are cheapest. Ross, or places of the sort. And before I dig myself into a hole here, I always got to shout out Petco because they have the best ticker on the market. Anyone who can't read Dave's screen, or anyone who's just listening to audio, Petco, ticker Woof, and I love it. But also, man, I really should have dug into Petco a little bit. Petco's up 47.5% this week. Wow. I should also note Petco's a penny stock, so even 47.5%, we're pushing $3.70 a share USD. Did lose money, only lost 4 cents a share, was expected to lose 7 cents a share. And here, let's see if I can find anything good on them, because I just put the numbers in my notes, and I did not actually say why they went up so much. That's a giant jump. Mm-hmm. They raised full year guidance. Okay, yeah, that explains it.
Yep. And you have one more before we jump into the NVIDIA. Everyone wants us to get to NVIDIA. Just stick with us. We're getting there, but Joseph is just like not getting there. He just wants to talk about everything else.
Well, we can get there now. We can hit NVIDIA.
Sounds good. So yeah, what a week for NVIDIA again. The stock that just doesn't stop. I don't even know where it went this week. I know it went over $1,000 up to, was it about 1,056 or maybe even higher?
1,065.
They announced a 10-to-1 stock split. Their earnings were crazy. So yeah, feel free to cut me off and jump in there.
I mean, so NVIDIA, like you said, hitting about $1,065 per share. First time they're ever breaking $1,000 a share. Jensen Wong, I know you tune into this program. We really appreciate what you do. You sure are leading NVIDIA up and to the right. Say hi to the missus for us. But yeah, $6.12 a share actual, $5.59 a share estimated. And I mean, NVIDIA sees the week going well, or the rest of the year going well. NVIDIA sees the next 2, 3, 4, 5 years going well. I mean, they're the main supplier for OpenAI. They work a lot with a lot of your other AI products like Gemini, owned by Google, who's AKA Alphabet. So even if NVIDIA isn't quite as in demand for consumers like you and I, because if you think back, the backbone of what they do is more of like the gaming industry and the computing industry. There is so much demand for NVIDIA and NVIDIA's products in Silicon Valley right now. And it's working, and it's working extremely well for them. And if I remember correctly, they're even doing something with like Tesla's new self-driving chips. Don't quote me on that. Do your own research, but I read that somewhere. And correct me if you think I'm wrong on this, Dave, but I don't think that I am. NVIDIA, in my opinion, benefits a lot from, I'm going to call it the Wall Street bets effect.
Yeah.
Everyone knows who NVIDIA is. I'm not going to call them a meme stock because there are some very, very good fundamentals behind NVIDIA right now. But, I mean, let's call it as everybody and their mom knows who NVIDIA is. And so when they hear NVIDIA beats earnings or keeps doing well, they're going to put more money into it. It just keeps working. And now, you mentioned, too, a 10-to-1 stock split. If you own one share of NVIDIA now, in just a few weeks or a couple months, I don't have the date in front of me, you're going to own 10 shares.
Right.
Which, yeah, great. Makes it a little more accessible to retail investors.
I highly doubt my mom knows who the company NVIDIA is.
Well, that sounds like you need to be a better son and start educating.
Yeah, just saying, right? A crazy week, and like you said, sort of that Wall Street bets effect. It is so much kinda like a meme stock, but it's so not a meme stock.
Oh, right? Without a doubt.
It's definitely not a meme stock. Not many meme stocks run up to well over $1,000 per share.
No. I mean, GME to the moon and all, but I mean, the difference is like Nvidia's got the fundamentals behind it. Like they are an actually like ridiculously profitable company with years and years of trading and experience behind them.
Yeah. Well, and not the years and years of experience behind them, but that forward growth and outlook of like, well, you mentioned the AI, right? And
Oh
what's
yeah.
coming next, and potentially working with Tesla. Like, who knows what's coming next? Like, this company really seems like it's just going to keep growing and growing. Not financial advice. I
Not
don't
financial
know.
advice, but I mean, like I don't know what the proper term would be on Nvidia. I mean, do we see Nvidia still growing 10, 15, 20 years from now? But at least in the short term, Jensen, whatever you're doing, bud, it's working.
Yeah, just keep doing what you're doing. Are we done with Nvidia? Or are we gonna just uh
I'm okay to move on to Thursday.
yeah, nothing more for Wednesday?
I don't. I If you have heard of any of these companies, please interrupt me. But I have not.
Well, when I see Elf, all I can think about is Will Ferrell, so
Of course.
that's probably not related. Yeah, we'll skip over to Thursday. Ralph Lauren, obviously TD Bank is the big one I've been keeping my eye on this week. Polestar, no idea what that is.
I feel like I feel like we said that 3 months ago because that sounds familiar, and I also
Yeah, right. I'm like, is that like some kind of pole dancing thing where they like make poles for those pole dancing workouts?
no, Dave. I don't think that's quite it.
I'm just throwing it out there, man. I'm just throwing it there. Let's start at the top. Ralph Lauren. I
I'm gonna
have not had a
say
polo shirt, an actual Ralph Lauren polo shirt since like high school because you get older and you're like you don't care about brand names anymore.
I don't think I've ever owned one.
Yeah. So you tell me, what do you think about the little
Well,
polo player there?
I know nothing about the little polo player there. I can look him up real quick.
Sure.
I do want to say about back to Dave's Polestar rant. If you're wrong, somebody in the chat will tell us.
Yeah,
Um,
that would be appreciated.
Ralph Lauren up 3.17% this week. Did beat earnings, $1.71 actual, $1.66 expected. And the only headline I've got here is that Ralph Lauren announces attractive financial prospects on their earnings call. What does that mean? I don't know. I didn't tune into the call, but that's what this journalist is saying.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Well, let's get into it, man. TD Bank. You know, I've been watching TD Bank for a couple weeks now. Um, they've had major issues with a anti or money laundering at their U.S. branches. Just
Mm-hmm.
wanted to point that out. This has been in the U.S.
It's what we do, baby. USA. It's what Thomas Jefferson would have wanted.
Yeah. So, and honestly, I don't really know the full backstory. As I've been hearing more about it in the past few weeks, I've been kind of piecing it together. And obviously, there were branches in the U.S. where the employees were taking bribes to um, accept basically drug money or whatever other money gained
Yep.
by illegal means.
They were helping him
And
wash it.
yeah, basically, yeah, exactly, laundering money, right? So
Yep.
they are now facing huge fines in the U.S., which is obviously affecting their stock price. From what I was reading yesterday, it almost looked like they were trying to manipulate their earnings a little bit by saying, "Oh, lowering expectations basically just in order to meet them." I don't know if you saw any of this or what your reactions or perceptions were. I'll throw it over to you.
I mean to go on a high level, I do think you're right. I mean, but in their defense, what company doesn't try to make their earnings call sound better than it actually is? I mean, so
Right.
if we start kind of at a high level, TD's up about 3% today, down only really about 1% on the week and only about 3% on the month. So since reporting earnings after close, they had a pretty good day today. So Analysts were expecting me at $1.36 a share. Actual, of course, after TD, like Dave mentioned, declined heavily, but they were surprisingly more profitable than we expected, coming in at $1.50 a share. And they did kind of, like touch on the money laundering report because, I mean, how do you not talk about it? Basically, and like you said, they basically tried to sweep under the rug, saying we fired more than a dozen employees, but we're more profitable than you thought we would be, and we want to open 150 new U.S. branches by 2027.
This is just a quick look at the. This is on the USD side. So Toronto Dominion Bank trading on the New York Stock Exchange at 56.56, closing today 56 US dollars. Quite a. Again, I'm on the 5-day chart. A lot of red, something of a bloodbath Thursday. Down as low as 54, 59, it looks. And then sort of rebounding a little bit, where they started out the week at, where were we over here on Monday? 57 USD. Yeah, and I also know that right now, because I literally bought a couple shares of them myself, full disclosure, yesterday at, I believe I picked them up for under 77 Canadian dollars, right? So, I'm kind of looking at it as a buying opportunity. We know the Canadian banks aren't going anywhere, the big five. They'll get through this. I think you and I were tweeting yesterday about it'll get shaken off over time, right?
Your dog agrees with you, too.
Yeah, he's a smart dog. We're still on Thursday. We're still talking about TD. Yeah, so TD Bank, quite a, I don't even know what the words are to describe it, right? Like, quite a situation they've been going through these past few weeks with the whole anti-money laundering thing. And again, it's the U.S. branches, but I did see an article. I think I tweeted this week about an article this week about being probed in Canadian Parliament as well. So,
I mean, how do you not?
Right. Well, that's a topic for a whole other podcast. How do governments not do things? Moving right along on Thursday, I think I've talked TD to death a little bit. You have anything else there before open or after close?
I've got a couple after close. First off, I want to hit into
I cannot believe how well my microphone is picking up the lawnmower outside. I just want to say it's amazing. I apologize, everyone.
Well, I want to start off with Intuit, but first off, I want to congratulate Dividend Dave for filing his taxes. I saw your tweet.
Yes, thank you. Yeah. I'm getting quite a bit of money back, actually, for those 3 years, which is nice. Even after paying all the fees and fines for filing late and everything, I'm still doing pretty good. So,
that said, moving on to Intuit, on the tax, talk, I'd like to issue a personal message to, Intuit. Sasan Goodarzi is your CEO. Maybe this goes to you. I don't know. But I sincerely hope from the bottom of my heart that your whole company burns to the ground. I want you to take all of your lobbying money and just. No, I can't.
Oh, you just made me hurt. That literally made me hurt when you said that.
I was like, I had another comment, but I feel like I shouldn't say it because we're live. Anyone who doesn't
kill me now. Go ahead, say.
I'll say take all the millions you spend every year in lobbying and just shove it where the sun don't shine. We'll PG it a little.
Okay. Sounds good.
Because anyone at home who doesn't know, Intuit owns TurboTax. Companies like Intuit, who own TurboTax, spend millions of dollars every year lobbying U.S. Congress to make filing your taxes as hard as possible.
Oh, of course.
So when I see a week like this week, it really makes my heart smile. Intuit's down 7% this week. $9.88 a share actual, $9.37 a share expected. And of course, I should say TurboTax isn't all of Intuit's income or all of Intuit, because they also have some other branches like small business bookkeeping and things of the sort. But TurboTax is a large sector of their business. And the big reason for this drop is this one in the report that included U.S. tax filing season. TurboTax users dropped. TurboTax free users dropped. And also kind of with the announcement coming, similar or recently-ish, that the U.S. IRS is rolling out free tax filing software for all Americans. I know they beta tested in certain states this year, and I believe they're going to keep that going in future years as well, to maybe even as early as the 2024 tax season, starting, of course, January 2025, rolling that out to all taxpayers in the U.S., which will make filing everyone's returns so much easier and completely free. But yeah, Intuit's down 8.5% today. And they can, as far as I'm concerned, they can keep falling.
Yeah. Just to kind of add to your point there, TurboTax is available in Canada as well, and probably many other countries around the world. And I could see them lobbying every one of those governments to make it, like you said, as hard as possible so that people buy their products, right?
Yeah, if you are American at home, look this up now or write it down for January. Look up the IRS Free File program. I believe it'll be rolled out to all 50 states by January. I didn't have it in North Carolina this year. But yeah, it's going to be completely free to file your taxes. And the IRS, who already have your W-2s, who already have your 1099s,
already have all the information. You just have to
they're going to pre-fill. Right. Yeah, they're going to pre-fill all data linked to your Social Security number. It's all you're going to do is click through it and confirm. It's going to be a game changer, and it's long overdue, in my humble opinion.
Yeah, and I wholeheartedly hope that the CRA here, the Canada Revenue Agency, follows suit, because that would be, like you said, an absolute game changer.
Oh, without a doubt. Because also TurboTax is not cheap.
No. Not when, and they want you to buy it like every single year. It's like, Okay, what else do we have on Thursday? Are we skipping? There's nothing on Friday if you want to skip to Friday.
So the last one I want to hit today was Workday, which I really want to hit them. So Workday is down 14% this week, including down 15.5% today. The main thing I want to hit was this. Dave, you may remember this, you may not. We talked about Workday about 3 months ago when they reported earnings, and they saw like a pretty decent jump on earnings on announcement that they were adding AI to because Workday is a CRM employer management software. And now we get to the end of this earnings call. We realize that nobody cares.
Honestly, I don't know if I recall that conversation.
Well, whether you do or not, that's fine. $1.74 share actual, $1.58 a share expected. Workday, of course, is a subscription product. Subscribers for the rest of the year are down. Like numbers, projections are way down. And I want to bring this up specifically. Please talk to me in the chat. I want to hear what you had to say about this. Workday saw that jump when they integrated AI, and they saw a hard crash when nobody cared. What other companies are going to do that? I mean, it's like we've even seen, like, I don't think it was, maybe it was even Walmart integrating AI, and the market loved it.
Right.
Who's next?
Yeah. Well, there will be another one.
Oh, without a doubt. It's a win, not an if.
Are we done for Thursday?
I am done for Thursday.
Do we have anything to talk about on Friday?
Do you know what either of those companies do? Because I don't.
All I know is that I saw booze, and I'm like, that looks interesting.
Let's see. What is Mesa Labs? Down 2% today, down 9% on the week. They make disposable products for healthcare and pharmaceutical companies. Okay.
Sounds boring.
And they did not actually report today. They're not profitable. Yep, they pushed it back a week. They punted.
Okay.
All right, well, there you go. Mesa Labs. Maybe we'll talk about them next Friday. Probably not, but maybe. But we won't.
But we won't.
Nah. I will forget between now and then. I have a long weekend ahead of me and a lot to do on it. So Mesa Labs will not exactly be in the forefront of my mind by Tuesday.
Not at all, right?
Not even a little.
Wow. Well, we got through this week rather quickly. I don't know. Anything else, or are we going to talk about the weather? Or are we just going to sign off? What do you think?
Oh, well, the weather's great. Got a little rain here today, but man, we sure needed it. Sun's back out though.
Nice. Nice. Awesome. Well, yeah, the weather's been good here. Like I said before we started recording, we got our first little mini heat wave there a few days ago where it got pretty hot, and now it's just really nice. That beautiful end of May, almost beginning of June weather. And yeah, we will see you again next Friday for the weekly close live here on the Passive Income Podcast. Thank you so much, Joseph, for coming on and spending some of your time with me. And
Every week.
know how much I appreciate you every week, how much I love having you here, and how much we just need another 500,000 subscribers so I can pay you that 10 Canadian dollars that I owe you.
Yeah, I'm excited. One day,
you're excited to get 10 Canadian dollars.
I mean, maybe 10 Canadian dollars is all I need to feed my family this week.
Hey, you know what? If you can do it, right?
Wish I had a dog here to hold up and be like, she won't eat if you don't give Dave 10 Canadian. If you don't subscribe, my dog Maggie won't eat.
Oh, that's funny. Well, again, thank you so much, and we will see you again next Friday at 5:30 Eastern Daylight Time for the weekly close live here on the Passive Income Podcast. If you're following on Twitter or any other platform, please be sure to follow both Joseph and I. And if you're on YouTube, be sure to click that subscribe button.